Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show that explores the creative process by inviting artists from various genres to come in and talk to us about their life and their art. I'm David Schrader, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Linda Scheller. Come on in, Linda.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Great. So today we have this special guest, Jeremy Stolle, who is a Broadway star and came from Modesto. That's the amazing thing, which started me thinking, I was not raised in Modesto. I don't know about you, but I came here because it was a small town. It looked like a nice place to raise kids. And one of the things that I discovered as I started looking beneath the surface is that Modesto had a very broad, wide, deep group of creative people. I was amazed. I mean, we had our symphony, an opera company, another company that did Broadway shows all the time with Paul Tischer. I don't know, were you born here?
No, I grew up in New York State. I lived near Schenectady, up in Potsdam, New York, and Saranac Lake in the Adirondacks. And then I came to California, lived in Southern California, up in Napa. And then I moved to Modesto. And right away, I was struck with how friendly the people were. I lived next door to Brian Swander, so right away, I had an artist as a neighbor. And I met so many writers, and there was a thriving drama community, and I have to concur. I was delighted with how many artists there were of all sorts. And then I moved to the West Side, and we had Newman Performing Arts, and I just felt so fortunate. It really is wonderful.
Right. It seems like I don't know. We're a nest for creativity.
Yeah.
Surprising for a small town. Anyway, enough about us just chatting. Let's get our guest on here. Come on in, Jeremy. Jeremy Stolle.
Hi.
Yay! How are you? Good to see you. Hometown boy.
Hometown boy. Yes.
Hometown boy, gone on to bigger things.
Yeah. Hometown old man now.
Hometown what now?
Hometown old man now.
Yeah, okay. So, we feel really fortunate that you could join us today. The unfortunate part is that you have time free because of what's been happening in the performing arts world with everything being shut down, and ordinarily you're a very busy guy,
Yeah, it's true. It's a weird world to live in right now because especially in Times Square. I used to live in Times Square. I've since moved out, and there was so much life, and it was so busy. And at any given time, you're on the street with thousands of people. And now 8th Avenue is just boarded up. There's no restaurants anymore. There's a new Chick-fil-A, and then there's nothing. And all the theaters are dark. There's not really anybody walking around the streets. There's influx of homeless people and no life whatsoever in Midtown. It's great. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Do you have any ideas or any inside information about when things may start up again?
It all depends. So every producer, there's a league of producers, and each producer of each show or each set of producers has their own opening, much like the states. They're all in charge of their own fate in that manner. I know that Phantom is very cautious. They don't want anybody at risk. Our theater holds a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that work there, so they don't really want to. The liability is too large for them to take any risks. So I think we're going to be a later version. There is news of possibly summertime. I know Fauci has made a few announcements about his about the vaccine and about his confidence in the vaccine, and that has led to possible openings, but still everybody's skeptical and kind of watching to see what happens. So I would say they're really trying for the summer, and I imagine that that's not going to land in full. And hopefully by 2022 we're back in the swing. But a lot of shows have gone down. Mean Girls actually just announced like not too long ago. They just call it quits, and it's weird. Like biting our nails, hoping that our team doesn't call quits.
Is it probing too deep to ask how you're doing and how you're coping with all of this?
I go in and out. I've had some real dark days. I worked my entire life to get where I am, and I lost it in one afternoon, the entire thing. And it's hard to deal with. I built a lot, and I raised my family on singing, and I'm pretty proud of that. I started a business called Stolle Productions. I had 4 different shows that would come to the Gallo Center, and they were booking, and it's just gone. As if an asteroid hit the Earth. It does,
well,
right?
The dinosaurs. That's how the dinosaurs must have felt. One day they're fine, and next day they're gone.
And hope. You have to keep hope. I've lost hope a few times. I thought maybe it's not going to continue. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I've gone through the gamut. There's like a whole. The 5 steps of loss, I think, have occurred. And we've lost people in the building. We right away, I think we closed March 12th at a matinee, and they announced it, and they said we're going to be closing for a month. And then
I remember, yeah.
And we just giggled. And 3 weeks later, someone was dead in the building, and it got real serious. I tell you, a funeral on Zoom is an interesting thing, but now it's gone through where it was then 6 months, and we'll come back, and then at 6 months it was an indefinite. And so I've kind of gone through a few stages of mourning, and
no doubt.
And now that I think that new times are coming, and I'm excited to see if they involve me at all. I'm hoping it.
I'm sure that will.
I have things in the works. There's
stuff, so let's get away from this depression stuff and go back and start with the rise from Modesto to Broadway. I'm going to turn you over to Linda here. She has all the questions about your early life and your early development. So. Linda, where are we going to start here?
Jeremy, please tell us about your experiences, your sort of development as an artist here in Modesto, some of the people and performances that were integral to your artistic trajectory, if you would, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't actually intend on being an artist in any way. It was an accidental thing, a fortuitous thing, I like to think. That I went to Modesto High School, and I was on the football team and baseball, track. I did sports and extracurriculars and got by. I was asked to come in and see if I'd be interested in choir by a man named Dennis Clark, who's a pillar of music in the Modesto history. And I thought, no, I don't think I would like to go see that. That'd be weird. But I did, and I really loved it. I was really taken aback almost instantly at 4-part harmonies and a collective music. That's something I'd not experienced until that moment. And then I said, yeah, I want to do it. And I went full in. I dove in. I joined. Dennis and I became best of friends, and he guided me through high school and helped me decide where I was going to go to college. I went on to Modesto Junior College and studied with the Woodwards, who are no longer at MJC, but they were also a very integral. They were great members of the music community in the Valley, and then they helped me get onto University of California, Irvine, and from there I got a degree in music on a scholarship from something that I never anticipated. I fell in love with theater when I did a musical with the high school at Modesto High, and that rehearsals that night, and then before even opening night, I thought this is the greatest thing I've ever done. This is so fun, and those bonds. It's funny. I can remember almost everything that has happened in my times at MPA and Townsend Opera, and all the rehearsals and all the disappointments and the happiness and everything that's gone on. I can remember all of it. And the Broadway show I was in, the Phantom, I couldn't tell you if it was Tuesday or Thursday. Like it was such a different experience because it was when you're growing up. And I came back and taught high school at Modesto High School. And from there, I was teaching those classes, and I was working at a steakhouse at night, teaching at Modesto High because I'm trying to gain money to go to New York because that was the plan. And I sat there at that school for almost 2 years, and they eventually, one of the students said to me, Mr. Stolle, you always tell us that we should thrive to be better people, and we should go on, and we should go for our dreams, and we should go to college because we can do it. But don't you want to be a Broadway actor?
Sure.
And yeah. And so I had to kind of put my money where my mouth was, right? A young student. And I gathered my stuff, and I went to New York with 2 suitcases, and I had never seen my apartment, and I gave it a shot. And
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
What was that like in the early days? You know, when you first got there?
It was exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
If you decide you're going to do something and you work your whole life to do it, and then you go do it, that's a neat day.
Yeah.
I did get there in 2002, right after the towers had fallen, and that was still the city had collected themselves and gotten things back together, and but there was still tons of debris downtown, and there were sections of the city that you couldn't go in yet because it was all being removed and gently tossed wherever I don't know where all that debris went, but it was the streets were actually still covered in gray from the rain, the debris, and the building materials. It was but yeah, it was exciting. It was interesting because they were still smoking.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh man, I go. They have bars in New York where everybody stands around a piano and sings show tunes, and it was like this magical place. And I'd go in and sing with these people, and then I'd leave, and my hair smelled like an ashtray. It's like,
Wow.
But that has since been taken away, and now it's clean air, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
What's the first show that you did there in New York?
In New York, I moved there, and the first thing I booked was Carousel in St. Louis, Missouri. And I booked it as my first audition. It was crazy. And of course, I was thinking, I got this, man. Let's do it. Cool. And then I didn't book another thing for a whole year.
Oh, no. Yeah. Plus, that meant you had to leave New York for a while.
Yeah, I left for the summer for 3 months, and
yeah,
I came back and I got a job as a supernumerator at the Met. That's basically like an extra. If you don't know the terminology, not speaking to you two, but whoever's listening. So I found myself in War and Peace at the Met, and at the end of the show, I was standing next to Dmitri Horstovsky on my right and Sam Raimi on my left, and then me.
There you go.
That was a neat time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a cool year and a half.
I ask about that, like going to another city to get a job, and I remember talking to you a number of years ago about that you said that was one of the things to get used to, that you would be in New York, and you'd get settled, and then you'd have to go someplace else for a while, and then you'd have to come back to New York, and sometimes like starting all over again.
Yeah, it definitely is, because you go into the audition circuit and they're starting to look at you, and you're meeting teachers and other actors, and then you disappear for 3-4 months at a time, or for entire winter. Yeah, and you come back in and start from the ground up.
Yeah.
But each little notch is one more step towards
Yeah.
where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember in that same regard that you said when you got on at Phantom, it was like someone asked you about what was the best thing about that, and you said, I get to stay in one place. I get to stay with my family and my kids. And
it's the truth. I get to walk to the theater and walk home like it's a normal job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made it.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, dude, that first time I was so excited, and I got done with the show. And mind you, the show had been running for 20 years at the time I got into it. And I got done with the show, and I said, what's everybody doing? What are you guys doing tonight? Where are you going? You going to Tuesday Fridays? You know, the guy looks over at me, and he goes, honey, I don't hang out with anybody at the theater. I go home to get away from you. And I was like,
yeah, where's the cast party, man?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So funny.
A lot of people are curious, does anything ever go wrong on stage?
Not perfect. We do.
It is, yeah. That's why you're there, right? Because you can do this perfectly.
What?
I have so many stories. I mean, when I was at the Gallo Center, I told one of my famous stories about a boat pole in the Phantom. I've also told the story of my very first bow as a lead, where I'll tell you a brief version of this. I got to do Raoul in Phantom. I play Raoul, Phantom, Piangi, and Passarino. I have several roles in the show. And my first night, the first lead I got to do was Raoul. And that night, it was really cool. But there's a stunt in it where we have to jump 12 feet through the floor, through fog, into the basement, onto a crash mat. And that scared the living heck out of me. So they have a person that comes in, a stunt person from LA, that comes and teaches this stunt. And we jump 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, and so it's fine. I went through all the training. We did it. We got to the night, and I go to do it, and I'm just so scared. I'm going through the whole night. Just all I can think about is that stupid jump. I get it, and I made the jump. Thank God. And at the end of the show, I remember that I saw the cast starting to come into the wings, and they're smiling and laughing and having a great time. And I'm sitting there in a noose, because Raoul's in a noose at the end of the show like this, like, Christine, come on. And the cast is just smiling. I thought, man, after 20 years, you guys are so nice. You're just so supportive, and just like here for my first go with this. You care. And we're there, and we bow. So the whole cast comes out to bow, and then they split, and then the leads come up through the front. So Raoul's first, and the cast split, and I turned the corner, and I realized at that moment, as I'm looking at 2,000 people in the auditorium, why the cast is laughing. So I walked to the front of the stage, and I made the jump, but my pants did not make it. Now, do you know what a dance belt is?
Yes.
It's basically like a men's G-string. So it's to keep everything neat and tidy in there.
Yeah.
So it's like cheap to the wind.
Yeah.
And now my pants are split. So I took my first bow, smiling at the audience and smiling at the cast.
But nothing ever goes wrong. No.
Nothing goes wrong.
No,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I like the pole story. I've heard it before. I'm sure there are people who are listening who haven't heard that.
I feel
That's
like
an amazing one too.
I have to act it out almost. It's so if you've seen Phantom of the Opera, you know that there's the girl, the boyfriend, and the Phantom. And the Phantom sees the girl and the boy talking. The Phantom has a crush. It's a love triangle. It's a new concept. The Phantom sees the girl and the boy talking while he's spying on her in her dressing room through this two-way Law and Order SUV interrogation mirror. And the two of them are deciding that they're going to go to dinner, and he thinks, ah! He goes nuts, and he decides that, all right, that's it, I'm taking you. And he opens this magic window, and he pulls her in to the window and then closes it, and then the boy comes back, and he goes, Christine, because she's disappeared. And then the coolest scene in the entire world happens. Like, the stage goes black. They pull off the dressing room, and all of a sudden these candles come through the floor, right? Or there's a bridge. Sorry, there's a bridge that comes, and the Phantom and Christine appear on the bridge, and it goes down, and they walk, and they walk, and then it goes down, and they walk. And they get through, candles come through the floor. They come on this boat. Now you think it looks like they're on this river, and the Phantom's has a gondola.
Yeah.
Brings her into the lair, does this. He asked her to sing for me, my angel of music, and she stands and she goes, ah, and then she goes higher and higher and higher and higher until like the dogs outside are starting to get.
Yes.
And at the end, she sings this really high E flat, and it's just amazing. There's fog on the floor. There's candles lit. There's an organ. There's on the other side is this mirror draped in a covering, and behind the mirror is a girl. It's a statue of Christine, and she's in a wedding dress. So he's going to reveal this wedding dress to her, and so they do music of the night. He takes her over, and he reveals this girl in this wedding dress. And of course, as you would know, in these times, anything goes wrong and women faint, right? That's just how they write those stories. It's my daughter gets so mad. She can't even handle it. She's like, what? And so she faints and she falls on the floor and she's listless. And so what the Phantom does is goes over to the boat and he grabs this big giant cape and he swooshes it on this music and it trickles down and it falls on the fainted girl. Well, I told you we came in on a boat. It's a gondola, and I don't know if you know much about gondolas, but they have boat poles, right? So on this particular day, and this particular thing, and however the gods decided that I should have this go on for me, the cape wrapped around the boat pole, and when I swooshed to bring her the blanket, it grabbed the boat pole and it sent that thing across the stage in a full helicopter spin toward the unsuspecting fainted girl. Right? And then you see in slow motion my life pass before my eyes as I go, no. And you see the audience go, whoa. And then you see the girl in the wedding dress behind the mirror, who's the understudy, go, oh my God, I'm on, right? And this thing, and it clocked her straight on top of the head. It's like, if that ever happens again in the history of this world, I will be so surprised. But it ended up knocking her out for just a sec. And then so that
you're talking about Christine, not the understudy.
Yeah,
you knocked out Christine.
The actual Christine, yes. Yeah. And so when the lights went dim, she finished the scene. Like she's tears in her eyes, and she's such a champ. I was so impressed. But she finished the scene, and she then was taken out to the office, and they were tending to her. And the girl was already in the costume. Continued the show, and it was nobody saw that. But, oh man, it was crazy to have to Music of the Night ends with that silent, help me make the music of the night. Silent note. And it was so weird to bend down to her and look her in the face as if nothing just happened. Pretend that nobody just saw that go down. Praying for the curtain to come in, please.
Oh,
Oh man.
what were there any? What was the aftermath to that? Anything?
No, I was taken into the office, and the management they said, I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna go ahead and file this. That's never gonna happen again. We're gonna make sure that we don't jerk the code anymore. And, we're just gonna move on.
Wow.
It was. I mean, I was so scared. I didn't know.
Oh, I bet.
And it was awful.
That alone would make you absolutely famous. No one has done that before.
Yes. Notorious, I think, is the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notorious. Okay.
Well, if I can shift gears, I'm just going to ask you one last question, Jeremy. And that is your thoughts about the value of the arts to society, to our country, and what it means to be an artist.
So strange. It's a strange time. Like people, I find it really weird because I've been in rooms with titans of industry, just huge men who have climbed up corporate ladders to the sky. And every time I walk into the room, they talk about, yeah, hey, congratulations, you're master of the universe. I know, right? Cool. And they're doing their thing. But if I walk into the room, they want to talk to me. They're so interested in what I do and what it's like. What do you do? Oh my God, how'd you get into that? Why did you choose that? What did your parents think? All the things. They want to know all these questions. And it's so valued. And it's something that people have great admiration for. People save up to come see it, and people dream to be it, and there's schools that are flourishing for it. And then it was strange to have the pandemic happen, where now we're all out of work and we're stuck, and we're being told things like, well, maybe it's time to find something new to do, and or move on and just let it be. We've all worked our entire lives to be what we are, and not to mention the arts in New York brings in a considerable amount of the city's money. It's in the tens of all the industries including stock market. We bring in so much money to the city with restaurants and parking and hotels, and there's just things thrive for theater. And then once it came time where we needed help, we're told that, sorry, I don't know what we can do for you, or told we're lazy, or told we didn't find something new, or go somewhere and do something that will contribute. There's lots of reasons people have opinions in the way they do, and I don't blame anybody for it. It was just interesting to see. There was a very interesting meme that came out that was very poignant, and it was a guitar player, an artist, and a pilot. And the guitar player says to the pilot, well, if you need a government bailout to continue your job, maybe it should just be a hobby. And I thought that was was poignant. Yeah. And it was interesting how much they have to fight for money to be funneled into the arts to save this industry and to save the people that run it and are in it. It eventually did. New York is really great about it and stepped up. And I know about some towns that have done really, really well to support their local theaters. I'm actually going to do a show in Wichita, Kansas, that I think they didn't even lose any season ticket holders. Everybody just said, I think they just donated their last season to the company and moving on. I think it's really great. And cities like that, but then there's cities that just fold and fold and fold, and they can't make do, and the cities aren't helping their theater because they don't find it. Actually, that's an assumption. They don't. It's not in the highest priority, so it's getting bumped out, and their funds are cut, and the theaters are dying, and it's already kind of an art that's hard to keep going. And then the pandemic has really, really been an interesting thing to watch stuff dwindle. Major shows, Disney shows, Frozen. They closed Frozen. You know, it's like, I'm not going to bet on this anymore.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's wild. So it's interesting to see who steps up and who doesn't, and how it's valued in bills. There's no arts in the CARES bill, which was interesting. But I think things will change. There's a lot of loud speakers in the arts industry. So
Sure.
We'll see. Yeah.
So some people have kind of changed direction and doing more things online. Is that taking place with you, with other people you know there, or?
Yeah, there's a great deal of people that have gone on to teach online. They teach voice, they teach whatever skills they're doing. I never found success myself in teaching. I have other skills to give. I do a lot of talkbacks, which I did in person. But that left. But there's a ton of actors who are doing that. Some have become real estate agents. I was working IT for T-Mobile for several months. I was literally moving in. They're opening new stores, and we were going in and putting in all the data racks and all the wiring and everything for the store to open. And that was my job. It was wild.
Jeez, yeah. Hey, let's switch directions here. Okay, you've let's get back to some of the shows you've done. You brought a lot of pictures here, and let's get back to the exciting part of this.
Okay, good.
Okay, so Linda, Linda, no, there we go. Okay.
We just go through these. If I see something that's really cool, this was a neat moment. I took my band to China. That, as you see, that behind me in the red coat, that's Joseph Reichert. He is a native Modestan, and he still sings. If you go to Big Valley Grace, I think is it called Big Valley? Big Valley. He's one of the main singers there now, and it's fun that he's found a way to continue his music like that. He sings with his family too. But we were in China there, and we were walking around this mall because we just met a bunch of kids, and there was a music store. And we walked in the music store to just see what they had going on in it. And I grabbed a guitar and started playing, and the owner was psyched. He was like, please stay, please stay. He brought out a drum. He started playing the drums with us, and then Joseph started playing. We sat on the piano, and then we just started singing for these people at the mall. And as you see, it kind of made a splash, and it was a really neat moment that I don't think people ever expected to occur.
A mini flash mob.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
I see the next picture down. That's a fun picture. So in Phantom, we get a lot of gifts, and that's one of the corners of my dressing room. So we get a ton of gifts, and a lot of them are artists that have done little portraits of us, and they send them to us as a gift. And I keep every single one of them because I think it's the most special and fantastic thing ever. And some of these artists are so talented. I can't even understand how they learned to draw like this. You see that there's a cartoon in black frame there about 2/3 of the way up, me with the hands out like that. That's called a squigs. A long time ago in New York, there was a guy named Hirschfeld that did these really great characters of Broadway artists, and he's since passed, but now they have this new guy Squigs, and he did a portrait of me, which I was really, really happy about. And now they have a collector's card. If you come to the Broadway con, you can buy these from his Squigs booth.
Very nice.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That is cool.
So where are we going?
Oh, there we go. That is, yeah.
No.
Recognize two people in that picture.
I do. Oh my gosh. Yes. You came back to Modesto and did Scarlet Pimpernel.
Yeah, that was
with Paul Tischer.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
I remember I couldn't get that one scene. I could not, my brain would not memorize that scene where we were tucked away in a cave and we're planning on the big ending, and it just would not stick in my head. I never forget that. It was like, that was a great time, man. I said, that's what I mean. I remember everything from that.
Oh.
Like it does have.
Yeah, I recognize him. Oh.
I love those costumes. Weren't they so good?
Yeah, they were great. Yeah.
You were Dewhurst, right? That was the name.
Yeah, Dewhurst or something like that.
Dewhurst, yeah.
Yeah, that was the last time I was on stage. Yeah.
Oh, shame, man.
Yeah. I'm a little older than you, so it's time I quit.
Never.
So what's next here?
Next. Oh, okay. So I get to do a lot of really cool things off the stage, but still for Phantom. I do a lot of their publicity. And this was cool. This was where I got to go do a mock musical of Phantom with Mayor Bloomberg. It was Mike Bloomberg, the mayor at the time. He did run for president in this last term. He didn't make it on the Democratic ticket. But he does a roast every year where the press gets to come in and roast him for an hour. And then he's a billionaire. So he is the resources that we all dream of. So he calls up Broadway shows and he puts on a show where he roasts the press corps, but through a musical venue like this. So I got to do that with him. It was a great time.
Yeah. So.
And then next down, that is another press event. That's the guy from Breaking Bad. There's Tyne Daly over in the corner.
Uh-huh.
And going down, I see another one down there. That's our picture from China when we first got to China, Shanghai. That was our band. Took a big old, that's called the Bund.
Uh-huh.
German section. The next one is cool. This is another show I got to do. I got to develop a new show with Disney called The Hunchback of Notre Dame, based completely on the movie Hunchback from '94, I think. And I got to do that with Stephen Schwartz and Alan Menken. It's awesome. You see that set is all wood, and those bells are real. They're made of a foam, but they're really real working bells. And then they have a little sensor on the bell. So when we pulled the ropes, and if it struck the side, it would hit the sensor and go into the MIDI machine and make a bell sound. And
cool.
That was cool, man. And that was a great experience. Disney it was a development for Broadway. They didn't do it because it was a little too expensive, and Frozen was going to take over. So we got bumped. That there, we were brothers in Hunchback. That you're looking at that's Patrick Page. He's the lead of Hadestown, the Tony Award-winning musical. He's Hades, and he is cool. He is a cool actor. That's a Shakespearean actor that I was so honored to be on stage with him. An unbelievable guy. Yeah,
that's got to be what would I say? An interesting experience to be around these people who are extremely talented. Not just that they're well known, but these are stars.
Yeah, and for a reason.
Yeah,
which is fun when I do these events and we go on Phantom events and there's other shows represented and everybody's cheering each other on because we're so excited to see another show, for one, and then for two, the people are so good at what they do. There's a reason they're in New York doing it.
Yes, right.
In a multi-million-dollar venue.
Yeah.
Next one down, that is on on my journey to Broadway, I did Beauty and the Beast 7 times, and that was in San Mateo, California, quite a many years back. It was a lot of fun. Beauty and the Beast. You guys did it in Modesto too.
Yeah, is that your real hair?
That is not. Those wigs, oh man, those classic wigs they make for these shows are so good. I love them. If you could tell, I'd walk around with them at all times. Big old quaff.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Modesto. That's us getting ready for Gala Center at the Center Stage Kids. There's Joseph in the middle. You go down a little more. There's another Phantom event I did with Chris Mann. He was a Phantom on the tour, and I was in the big show, and he was a voice winner, I think. He sang the song Roads, which I think they got a Grammy for it. Going down, that's another event I get to do. That is Broadway at Bryant Park. So we do 2 numbers from Phantom in front of thousands of people in this park at 42nd Street during the summer as a part of a Broadway promotion. There's a lot of promotion. That's how they keep it cool, I think. And they promote it. It's just a big part of the budget.
Yeah, it's a full life. It isn't just the performance on stage. It's a full life.
Yeah, keeping it going is a monster.
Yeah,
is definitely. Yeah, down that's Birdland. I don't know if you've heard of Birdland. It's a cabaret center. There's 2 really big cabarets in town. There's Birdland and 54 Below, which is the old Studio 54, and they're great venues to do. And I was lucky enough to get to do that. That Susie Mosier in the middle, she's funny. She opens her act by just riffing. They play music and she sings a song that she makes up, and it's all about how she's feeling, what she did, what she made for dinner, and how she makes fun of people in the audience. And you just, there's not a dry eye in the place. We're laughing so hard. So talented. Next, that's my first job out of college. I was Gaston in Beauty and the Beast in Florida at Disney World. So grateful for that show. Another one, Beauty and the Beast, under that. And that was in Utah. Another one is underneath that is Wichita, Kansas. That was Thoroughly Modern Millie. Great show. Those kids are so much more talented than me. It was insane. Come from Michigan, University of Michigan. Oh my gosh. If I had to go toe to toe to audition with any of the ensemble, I wouldn't even be seen. So talented. And down, the next one down, that's 54 Below. So that's the other venue, and we took the show there. We rocked the place. It was fun. And then I had some guests there. I had a lot of Christines come as the guests. Like the next one down, you can see that's Ali Ewald. She and I got really crafty with Instagram at one point, and we started making little tunes of Broadway music, but we turned them into little ukulele duets, and it kind of took off. It was crazy. It was doing really well. We were asked to guest into a few things. We did a little guest star on a Broadway blog at one point. I think it got a couple million hits on it.
Wow.
We were playing No More Talk of Darkness, Forget on just it's so silly.
Right. You mentioned before when we were talking that Modesto is famous. They have their little ukulele band.
Yeah, it's so cool. I brought the uke the first time I went to the Gala Center, and they gave me their album, and I love it. It's in my playlist. Very cool. I want to play with them, but that's fun. That's the Beauty and the Beast. So it went well the first time. We did it again, and the second time, Belle is that girl. If you follow Broadway, then there's a new show called Jagged Little Pill on Broadway by Alanis Morissette, and she's the lead of that show. She went on to have a really huge career, but it's fun. She back in the trenches with me back in Utah.
Yeah.
Next one down is a picture of that's Rob. So that's one of the parts that I do. That would be the pants that I split that I'm wearing on there. That's Rob, the boyfriend in Phantom. in the great costume. That coat is everything. And here's the next one down is another character I do called Passerino on the show. And I have a lot of time backstage. So I tend to get really silly and take fun photos and videos, and the ballerinas are always up for it. They're just the funnest group of girls ever. They'll do anything.
So that's a character in Phantom?
Yeah. It's one of the opera characters. He's Piangi's.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where he went in. I was trying to place him.
Passerino, faithful friend. It's one of the operas at the end of the show when they kill Piangi.
Okay.
The next one down, that is. Whoa, I heard a motorcycle in the background or something. That's a bow of 3 understudies. That was a neat night. That rarely happens, but I got to do it, and that is the most satisfying bow ever. Now you walk out there and go, wow, I get to bow right now as the Phantom.
So that's an interesting question. Like you said, 3 understudies. How often does that happen during the run of a show? I mean, you understudied all these different roles.
Yeah. Well, the 3 big leads at the same time it's really rare. I've only seen it. I don't think I've seen it even twice in 13 years. It's they tend to frown upon that because people come to see a show and they want to see what they came to see, not the person that is in there now because everybody didn't come to work. Not that you're going to get a worse show by any means. It's just it just says a statement to the people buying tickets when the leads are.
When you say there's an understudy, even though you may not know who the lead is.
Well, that's another story. You ready for this? This is a quick.
Yeah, quick.
I went on as the Phantom halfway through the show. And because the Phantom at the time, he felt dizzy and he didn't want to walk on all these catwalks and high areas feeling dizzy and fall off and die. I don't blame him. So he left the show and they called me into the dressing room to get the makeup on and do the whole spiel. And I went on for Act 2. So when you go on for Act 2, they have to make an announcement. So I'm behind the curtain and they go, ladies and gentlemen, for the remainder of the performance, the Phantom will be played by Jeremy Stolle. And 2,000 people went, oh. I can't take it personally because I would be that person.
Right. The love.
That's the Gallo Center. That was us playing at the Foster. Keep going down. This is like.
Well, just before you back up just a minute to that, to the you've been there what twice?
I've done twice. I've done 2 of my shows in there. I've also been the Symphony twice.
Yeah,
and I'll be back again in January 2022.
That's what I wanted you to say. Yeah, when can we expect you back? 2022.
In January. It's booked. It's signed. As long as the facility's open, we're gonna come and rock the place. The show I'm bringing this time is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah,
it's
hints. Can you give us a hint?
Well, if you've been to my shows, it's a lot of silliness and a lot of unexpected, and it's just more of that. I've got bigger, better numbers. We now have video backgrounds that are going to come in, and there's just better numbers. Like I've taken Oklahoma and turned it into a hootenanny, like it should be. Like there's a bright golden haze on the meadow, and I've got the band playing bluegrass, and we got a fiddle player jamming on it. It's going to be
wonderful. All right, we look forward to it. Okay,
and then my normal shenanigans. That's China. So when we come up to a venue, we giant billboards. Like,
I was wow.
Go to a country you don't even know, and then your face is on a.
Yeah, there's a superstar, man. Yeah.
You get 2 down, you can see what happens after the show when they go in for the autographs. Oh, that's the stage door, and we get to see the greatest kids. And there's another picture in there, if you could forward to it, that is, it's down, I think. It's me and the girl at the stage door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's way down there. I'll get to it later, but let's not get out of turn. Oh, there she is. So you meet a lot of people at the stage door, and everybody's a fan of Broadway, including the people on Broadway. And well, this girl, she's actually going to be Steven Spielberg's Maria in West Side Story movie. But I know her because she would 4 times a year, her and her mom came to see Phantom and waited after to talk to us. And she'd DM us on Instagram, and she's just the sweetest thing. And now she's a megastar. You guys are so impressed with her.
She looks so young.
She is. Yeah, she's high school.
Really?
Yeah, she got the job in high school. Crazy.
Man.
High school kid gets to call Steven Spielberg Steven. Crazy. Where were we? We'll just continue, right? Click one and go, oh, yes, my dream photo. I'm a big Alphaba fan, so she took a picture with me. This is another one of the things I get to do for promo. So I represented Phantom. She represented Wicked, obviously, and we performed. Well, you know what I don't have a picture of in there is we don't have the one we did on Good Morning America, where Angela Weber had 4 simultaneous shows on Broadway at the same time, but 3 and 1 was coming in. So at the time we took Cats, School of Rock, and Phantom, and they did a mishmash. And we performed it on stage, and it was so awesome. Another cool thing I got to do, right?
Yeah.
The show is like secondary, I think. You can see the top picture. There's a picture of confetti at the stage, and that is a time when we had the 30th anniversary of Phantom. And on that stage is the current cast, the original cast, old other cast members, and then Andrew Lloyd Webber and Cameron McIntosh are on stage there. And we had a huge party where they projected a 5-minute movie, especially for us, on the Empire State Building. And we all got to go to the Rainbow Room and watch it from the windows. And it was just a magical night.
Wow.
Yeah, celebrating 30 years of that running show. It was cool. It's everything it looks like right there.
Yeah.
Nuts. Ramin. Oh, he's in there.
I see a picture down there. You were going to go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's a promo. That's another. So that's
Yeah.
a luncheon for 6,000 people. And what we do is we 12 shows come in and do one number from the show or 2. And all 6,000 people are tour guides or tour presenters. And then they buy 1,000 tickets to whatever show and put together a package for people like a Modesto tour group of 25 people who are coming to New York to see 3 shows and stay in New York and see sights. It's all bought here.
Yeah.
We entice them with our songs.
Uh-huh. I see a couple pictures down there that is another interesting story about your parents, their tickets to your show.
I told you. Okay, so this is the Seagramston Theater in Orange County, California, and it is a symphony hall that is of epic proportion. And they have a second screen on top for the people way up there to see, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So what you're looking at is I got to do Music Man with the symphony, and I got to be Harold Hill. Another huge thing that I just am so grateful that I got to do. And that you're looking at is my parents' seats. And my mom sent me that picture backstage to say, your father's no longer allowed to arrange our tickets. They offered me 3rd row center right behind the conductor. And my dad wouldn't take them because he didn't want to take it from somebody who could have them that's more important. And so he sat in the rafters to watch the show, and my mom was just rolling her eyes.
So she sent you that during the performance or something?
Yeah, this is before. That's about 20 minutes prior to the performance. Dad's no longer in charge of tickets.
So she said project, right?
But yeah, right? That's another picture of it. That's the last pose of it. Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It was cool. The conductor of that was in the movie. He was a little boy in the movie.
Ah, wow.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, moving on. Oh, that's another event. So they're at the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. They did a new Phantom section. So we got to go sing for the opening of Madame Tussauds Wax Phantom. That's a girl from Orange is the New Black. She was there at the time. You can see that more art. There's there's a picture from Modesto there. That's a picture that was taken backstage during the show. I was actually on my way into the Angel, and he goes, "Turn around," and I posed and took a shot. That's more fan art. So they made pumpkin carvings one year of the different Phantoms. They had I think a fun contest with that, which was cool. I liked my pumpkin very much.
Yes.
The top. This is fun. This is in a really ritzy hotel in New York, and the guy on the top is Charles Hart. So he wrote the book to Phantom. He was one of the writers that you don't hear about because kind of Andrew Lloyd Webber takes precedence.
Yeah. Right.
But and then that's Megan Pacherno, the current Christine, and Elizabeth Welch, the understudy. And and then there's our pianist. That was a cool time. The next one down, this is Modesto. This is Townsend Opera. This when that was still called Top. I think it's what is it, Modesto Opera Company now?
Upper Modesto, yeah.
Yeah. And it's thriving. I'm so proud of you guys. It's awesome. But that was Jekyll and Hyde.
Uh-huh.
And that was really cool. I think it was a big risk for Buck to take that because they did operas and maybe classic musicals, but something like a Frank Wildhorn crazy musical like this, it was a new idea. It did really well.
Yeah.
We rocked it. Yeah,
By the way, go back there just a minute. I want to bug you about this. I asked you about this before, but when you mentioned Buck, I mean, we've had a couple of international opera stars. They've toured the world. Buck Townsend was one. Roy Stevens was another.
Hey, Roy.
Yeah, and they both have come back to Modesto to keep it going, to keep this Opera Modesto going and keep churning out stars. And so when are you coming back? What are you going to start?
Job I can't refuse.
I'm sorry. That's just
I would love to, actually. I would love to live in the Valley with my family around.
Yeah. Anyway, you can go on.
Oh, there's another gig. That's Joseph there. That's at the Lesher Center in Walnut Creek, California.
Uh-huh.
Right after the Gallo. That's my first show that I booked. Carousel, St. Louis. And then here's another one. I mean, this is crazy. I'd been in the show for a month. And they were honoring a guy named Jerry Schoenfeld. And Jerry was a very prominent producer at the time. But these are all the leading ladies and the big leading ladies of Broadway. And you can see in there's Donna Murphy. And next to her is Whoopi Goldberg. And next to me is Carolee Carmelo. In this Tyne Daly. I walked in that room and I couldn't breathe. I was like, where am I right now? It's crazy. It's the Waldorf Astoria, the side room where they keep the wine.
Jeez.
Another event. Yeah. And then on down, that's Carousel. I did in Camelot. Boston. I played Lionel. Was the understudy to Lancelot. He was French guy. He was so good. Great accent. Yeah, I think we've exhausted the pictures by this point, right?
Have we? Yeah. Oh, wow. What a journey. Thank you.
No problem.
I don't know. It's wonderful. Fascinating. Yeah. It's wonderful. And to hear the stories of hometown boy who moved on.
Moved on. Well,
yeah.
I like to think I like to think of it as a hometown boy who was nurtured correctly. I certainly didn't have there was a lot of people in town that had their hand in me being where I am.
Yeah.
And a lot of support and a lot of love. And I don't think I would be where I was if I hadn't moved to Modesto. Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, when you told your story about you weren't interested at first, you were playing football, and then somebody asked you to join the chorus or the choir. It reminds me of the story of Glee, when they had the football player.
Yeah. The good guy who wanted to be no, you're thinking of a High School Musical, right? The football player.
No, it was Glee. They had a football player who's quarterback for the football team. He was
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought
part
it was
of the Glee club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Came
So-
on there. Yeah. So, it was nice.
Broadway people too. They're all Matthew is the teacher. Matthew Morrison. He's one of the first people I met out here in New York. He was doing Hairspray at the time. He's just the young buck who got the lead as the handsome man.
Right.
He still is.
So you'll be on there. One of your first experiences was with MPA with Paul Tischer.
Yeah, that was
he's going to be on here in a couple of weeks.
Is he
talking
really?
about? Yeah.
He's a hoot, man. He's just the greatest guy.
Yeah.
Great personality. I love him.
Yeah.
Guys and Dolls, Fiddler, and Jesus Christ Superstar with MPA, which is now MPAA, right? 2 A's?
MPAA. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I'll have to ask him about you and trade stories, that sort of thing. Yeah. So anyway, I see our time is about up. It is up. I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yes.
I don't know if we have any questions. I don't know. Maybe we didn't have an audience today, or the people watching were just as fascinated as I've been, which is, no, they're great stories. They're wonderful stories, very entertaining, very insightful in many ways.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So anyway, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah, thanks for asking me. Yeah.
And I will definitely see you when you make it here in 22.
A year from now, I will be probably flying today next year.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Is it a 1-day affair or 2 days or?
We're gonna go. I think they're probably gonna be a little small tour because if I'm taking the band all the way across the country, I might as well hit a few spots. I think we're gonna do Modesto, and then we're gonna go out to Livermore, and we might go down to LA, and then over to Arizona, chain a few together.
Yeah.
It's that way financially.
Yeah. Wonderful. I look forward to it. And thank you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
It's
Thanks
great.
so much. It was great talking with you, Jeremy.
All right.